What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. This is Legitical Response. And folks, the mainstream narrative machine, they have to lie. Now, I don't know why they have to lie. I guess they really don't have to, but they do anyway. And they talk about some really weird stuff. Check this out.
But the former president kicked off his rally with a detailed story about Arnold Palmer, at one point even praising the late legendary golfer's genitalia. Stories about Arnold Palmer's penis, and spoke about the size of a pro golfer's penis, about Arnold Palmer on his, quote, manhood. Why is he talking about Arnold Palmer's penis?
Jake, you seem to like that line a lot.
Sorry, that was the wrong clip. Here's the correct clip.
Interviews this week, Donald Trump repeatedly referred to prominent Democrats and others on the left in the United States, American citizens, as, quote, the enemy from within, unquote. And he suggested, as president, he would want to use the National Guard or military against them. Let me play some of that for our viewers.
The bigger problem are the people from within. We have some very bad people. We have some sick people, radical left lunatics. And I think they're and it should be very easily handled by, if necessary, by National Guard, or if really necessary, by the military, because they can't let that happen.
One of the first things you did when you joined Congress was to create the Honor and Civility Caucus. Does wanting to use the military against political opponents, would that pass muster with the Civility Caucus?
That's not, Jake, you know that's not what he's talking about there. What he's talking about is marauding gangs of dangerous, violent people who are destroying public property.
He talked about Adam
and
Schiff
threatening
and
other American citizens.
He's not talking. I mean, Governor Youngkin tried this with me too. That's not, he was very clear. Let me play, because he was asked about this later on, because Fox always likes to give Donald Trump an opportunity to clean it up. And he always says, no, I said what I meant. Here's what he said when asked about it the next day.
It is the enemy from within, and they're very dangerous. They're Marxists and communists and fascists, and they're sick. I use a guy like Adam Schiff because they made up the Russia hoax. It took 2 years to solve the problem. Absolutely nothing was done wrong, et cetera, et cetera. They're dangerous for our country. We have China, we have Russia, we have all these countries. If you have a smart president, they can all be handled. The more difficult are, the Pelosi's, these people, they're so sick and they're so evil.
That's what he's talking about, using the U.S. military against, not marauding gangs of Venezuelans.
Wait a minute.
Adam Schiff, Nancy Pelosi's husband, Paul. So let me just say, if a Democratic presidential candidate said that you and your wife were evil and that the military should be used against you, I would say that's disgusting.
Okay, so here we have another instance, once again, of CNN. They'll take something Trump says, they'll pull it out of the context, put it with different context, and say, oh, look how evil Donald Trump is. Oh, my God. He's talking about taking out congressmen, political opponents, and all this other garbage. Well, no, that's not what he's talking about here, y'all. That's not what he's talking about at all. Once again, pulling Donald Trump's statements out of context. Like, why do they think they can keep getting away with this? Like, don't they know that people like me exist, and this is what I live for, is to point out their garbage, nonsense, lies? Like, that's exactly what I do on a constant basis. So it's like, why do they keep doing this, knowing we have social media? But it doesn't make any sense. But it's like, they can't help themselves. They have to lie about Donald Trump. They can't be actual journalists, unbiased, none of that, or even give off the air of no bias, right? Like, they can't even try to do that. They have to lie about Donald Trump. So where is the lie? Where is the pulling it out of context? Well, you know what? Donald Trump wasn't talking about going after Adam Schiff. Hey, as a matter of fact, he was talking about rioting, as a matter of fact. Check this out.
What about that, though? Are you expecting chaos on Election Day?
No, I don't think so. Not from the side that votes for Trump.
But I'm just wondering if these outside agitators will start up on Election Day. Let's say you win. I mean, let's remember, you've got 50,000 Chinese nationals in this country in the last couple of years. Yeah. You've got people on the terrorist watch list, 350 in the last couple of years. You've got, like you said, 13,000 murderers and 15,000 rapists. Right. What are you expecting? Joe Biden said he doesn't think it's going to be a peaceful Election Day.
Well, he doesn't have any idea what's happening in all fairness. He spends most of his day sleeping. I think the bigger problem is the enemy from within, not even the people that have come in and destroying our country. By the way, totally destroying our country. The towns, the villages, they're being inundated. But I don't think they're the problem in terms of election day. I think the bigger problem are the people from within. We have some very bad people. We have some sick people, radical left lunatics.
Yeah, so that puts a much different spin on it, doesn't it? He was actually talking about something Joe Biden said, and Donald Trump's like, no, the violence isn't going to come from us. It's going to come from these left-wing nut jobs, which he's totally correct. But then he starts talking about how people like Adam Schiff, Nancy Pelosi, they get out there and they lie constantly, just lie after lie after lie after lie. They fabricate evidence like Hillary Clinton did. Fabricate evidence, get out there and lie to the American people, and then these left-wing nut jobs think that Donald Trump is Hitler because they're being told constantly that Donald Trump is Hitler. So what do these people do? They go and try to take his life. So that's where the inconsistency comes from. But you got to love what they do. They just twist the narrative on you right quick, and it makes people actually believe this stuff without doing the legwork. They just don't care. They hear something bad about Donald Trump, and then they'll just go off and repeat it. And that's something I can't stand, to be honest with you, because, like, why not just go with the truth? Like, I understand you want to push your narrative in a certain direction, but this day and age, when we have social media and we have fact checkers, we can go and look up the clips, get the evidence, put it together, and see that you're outright lying to us. The hypocrisy, the lies, the manipulations, it's all there. That's what I do. That's what I point out. So, right quick, I'm trying to plug these in, anywhere and everywhere I can. So if y'all could do me a big favor, smash that like button for me. I know you forget to do it sometimes, but it really, really helps. And I need you guys' help, especially right now. I'm trying to get out of the box that I've been put in by YouTube. So smash that like button for me. That's really, really important if you could do that. If everybody smashed the like button, we would get thousands of views. It would be great, y'all. But if you're new around here and you want to stay up to date with the lies and the manipulation of the corporate press and the mainstream news, smash that subscribe button for me and share this video anywhere and everywhere you can. It really, really helps. And like I said, I need you guys to help me out to expand and grow a little bit, to get the word out about the lies, the manipulation, and the blatant hypocrisy coming from these people. But I actually got a news article for you guys today, and it just so happens to be on this same subject: lies and manipulations of the corporate press and the mainstream narrative machine. Check this out from, once again, CNN. They're hitting on all cylinders, folks. Check this out. 60 Minutes rejects Trump's claims it edited clip for Harris as former president calls for investigation. Now, we just covered an article yesterday where some top guy in the FCC said, yes, we need to look into this, and he says that we're going to look into this. And so they need to, because, folks, you can't just manipulate and edit these clips and then present that to the American people if you want to be honest. I mean, sure, you can do that, but when people find out what you did, it's like, okay, so why would they do that? They're supposed to be unbiased. They're supposed to give you the unfiltered, just whatever comes out, the raw clip. But why do they have to edit it? And then, you gotta love this. They claim they didn't. Check this out, y'all. CBS's 60 Minutes on Sunday rejected former President Donald Trump's claims that the show edited its interview with Vice President Kamala Harris at her campaign's direction. Notice, hang on, they threw in the at the campaign's direction. Now, I don't recall Donald Trump ever saying that. That's one of these manipulations that the corporate press, they'll throw that in there so they can actually lie to you and get away with it, because that was never said, right? So that would be a lie if Donald Trump actually said at the direction of Kamala Harris's campaign. That's where they get you, folks. Now, fact check false. Fact check false. That's right. But that's not what Donald Trump said, is it? No, it's not. And they even put Donald Trump's quote in here thinking that the reader, you and I, aren't going to notice this, I guess. Former President Donald Trump is accusing 60 Minutes of deceitful editing of our October 7th interview with Vice President Kamala Harris. See, once again, adding a word, deceitful editing. He never said deceitful editing either. That is false. The show said in a statement that noted that Trump backed out of his own 60 Minutes interview earlier this month. Oh, you gotta love that. You got to love the deflection. They come in and say, no, we didn't do that. We didn't do what Donald Trump actually said, even though that's not what Donald Trump said. And then they go on to say, well, he backed out of a 60 Minutes interview. The hypocrisy is on another level, folks. This is just great. You got to love these people, man. 60 Minutes gave an excerpt of our interview to Face the Nation that used a longer section of her answer than that on 60 Minutes. The statement reads, I'm sorry, you look at the two clips, they're totally different answers.
But it seems that Prime Minister Netanyahu is not listening.
Well, Bill, the work that we have done has resulted in a number of movements in that region by Israel that were very much prompted by or a result of many things, including our advocacy for what needs to happen in the region.
But it seems that Prime Minister Netanyahu is not listening.
We are not going to stop pursuing what is necessary for the United States to be clear about where we stand on the need for this war to end.
Now, if you wanted to say that one of them was an extension and they cut something out, because if you look at the two different clips, yeah, they're not the same. They're not the same at all. They would have had to actually cut one out completely, air this one, and then air the other one separately, because those two clips, they weren't the same. Same question, same answer, but a different portion of the response. You see what I mean? See what they're doing here? It wasn't a different portion of the response, right? Because it sounded like two different responses. That's the problem here. It may have been the same winded response, but what they did is they clipped a section of this, put the question with this section, and then for the 60 Minutes actual clip, they took the other section. They just took that one section that they previously aired. They just took that all the way out. It's like, the manipulation here is just unreal. When we edit any interview, whether a politician, an athlete, or movie star, we strive to be clear, accurate, and on point. If that was true, you wouldn't have to edit anything. You just air everything right out. Who cares about, people thinking about what they're going to say, time lapses, all that garbage? Who cares? I understand. You got to cut out, parts where people aren't speaking and, clip that together. But, you don't take out entire sections of answers, not when it's a presidential election, right? If they're just filibustering to fill time, I'm sorry, look, you got to put that in there if you want to come off as honest. But these people aren't coming off as honest, are they? No, they're not. The portion of her answer on 60 Minutes was more succinct, which allows time for other subjects in a wide-ranging 21-minute-long segment. So there they go again. Once again, now they're admitting that, yes, that is exactly what they did. They edited this out, to be succinct, yeah. In an interview on Fox's Media Buzz that aired earlier Sunday, Trump suggested Harris should be investigated over her 60 Minutes appearance. He repeated his accusations that CBS News edited the sit-down with correspondent Bill Whitaker. You just admitted that that's what you did. CNN, you just told us that's exactly what you did, and now you're telling us what Trump did, but no, it's wrong. They took the answer out in its entirety and put a completely different answer in that makes her look like she's normal, he told host Howard Kurtz. The former president's criticism of CBS comes as he has repeatedly turned down invitations from television networks including CNN and Fox News. I'm sorry, that wasn't my mess up. You can see it's right there. That was their mess up. for additional debates instead of opting for sit-downs with right-wing media outlets. The Harris campaign has seized on her GOP rival declining interviews to advance her message that he isn't up to being president. Oh, here we go again. Oh, Trump's old and he's senile and he can't do it anymore. Don't look at what we did. We didn't edit this in any sort of manipulative way. No, that's not what we did. We were just, we were patterning this for time. We were just getting some garbage out of it. The whole thing was garbage, as a matter of fact. But you love what they do. Oh, look, Trump bad, y'all. Don't forget, Orange Man is bad. These people, man, I swear. Our long-standing invitation to former President Trump remains open. If he would like to discuss the issues facing the nation and the Harris interview, we would be happy to have him on 60 Minutes. You gotta love that. The show said in its statement. Trump campaign spokeswoman Carolyn Leavitt continued to go after 60 Minutes later Sunday, incorrectly claiming that CBS admitting to doing exactly what President Trump accused them of doing. Yes, we just proved that. CNN just proved that, as a matter of fact, because they did edit it for deceitful purposes, right? It wasn't just because they were patterning for time. That's exactly what they did. I'm sorry. That was only like 5 seconds of speaking. I'm sorry. When it comes to something like this, you can't edit this out. The American public needs to know this. You can't edit out all the garbage she says. Otherwise, it's going to make her look very, very different to the American people. In other words, we're not going to be able to see Kamala, her answers for what they were. We're going to see an edited, padded version of her answer that's meant to look better. And they claim, oh, it's for time constraints. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm not buying that. Succinct. Whatever. Kiss my ass. They edited in a different response from another part of her answer to make Kamala Harris sound less coherent than she really was, Leavitt said in a statement. Trump earlier this month called for CBS to lose its license over his accusations that the network replaced Harris's answer with another to make her look better. Federal Communications Commission Chairwoman Jessica Rosenworcel denounced those comments as threats against free speech. Oh, here we go. Now they're going to start accusing Donald Trump of threatening free speech. No, it ain't got nothing to do with speech. He's just wanting to point this out because this could be considered election interference. When you do stuff like this, intentionally editing an answer to make a candidate look better, and then claim you're just editing it for time constraints. I'm sorry. That's not what it is, especially when the answer was that bad. That bad. It was really bad. And in October 2020, Trump sat down with 60 Minutes correspondent Leslie Stahl and abruptly ended the interview when he apparently objected to Stahl's questions. Oh my goodness, here we go again, y'all. Orange Man is bad. Don't look at what we're doing. Trump and his allies have repeatedly threatened the press. Last year, he called for Comcast, the parent company of NBC News and MSNBC, to be investigated for treason over its coverage, and said that if elected president again, the news media would pay a big price. Yes, because they lie constantly to the American people. Now, I could see that going to court and, free speech standing tall on that one. But, when you have a news organization that constantly lies to the American people, that's not a very good look. And what I would tell Trump is, drop all this. Point out when they lie and manipulate the American citizens, point that out, show your evidence, and then let them implode from within. Because if they keep doing stuff like this, eventually advertisers are going to start pulling. They're not going to get viewership, and their ratings are going to start tanking, and they're eventually going to go out of business because people don't like being lied to. So what I would suggest is make a YouTube channel like this one to point out all the inconsistencies, all the lies, all the manipulations, and show that to the American people and let the American people decide if they want to be lied to constantly. right? Like MSNBC is one of the worst about this, but NBC is actually fake news. They constantly manipulate headlines. For crying out loud, the Harris campaign was doing this, and none of these people had any problem with the Harris campaign taking their headlines and changing them and running them as ads to make Kamala Harris look better. They had no problems whatsoever with the Harris campaign doing this. Now, why would they have to do that? That's just insane to me. Why would they have to take headlines and manipulate them, change some words around to make Kamala Harris look better, and then try to pass that off as an ad? Right? When you put like this is an ad way down in the bottom corner, people aren't going to read that. They're going to read the headline. Most people don't read the news. This is one reason why I started doing it. Because they lie. But they have to give you the facts sometimes, right? Like I've noticed that. They'll structure the language in their articles to be very manipulative, to twist things around. Oh, no, that's not what we did, like we just pointed out. That's intentional structuring, manipulative structuring, I guess you could call it, of the article to make it sound like they're telling the truth and they're not lying and they're not manipulating you. But once again, when you put a little bit of logic, critical thinking behind this, remember what they said a few seconds ago, then read it out. We can all see what's going on here, folks. We can see exactly what's going on. But these people, they have to lie, like Jake Tapper did. Just has to lie. They have to pull stuff out of context, place it with different context, like adding that Trump was talking about Adam Schiff. That, to me, I'm like, what does he think? Adam Schiff's going to be involved in a riot? Because that's what Trump was talking about when I first saw that clip. I'm like, what the hell is Jake Tapper even doing here? Yeah, I covered this a few days ago, or last week, as a matter of fact. I showed a little clip of that when he was talking to Glenn Youngkin. And I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. And he's still doing it. So once again, I'm going to point that crap out. I have to. That's just my job, I guess. But, you know, I think I'm done with this one, y'all. I want y'all to let me know what y'all think about all this down in the comment section, because this type of stuff, it never ceases to amaze me. That just blows my freaking mind that they still try to lie, even though they're easily fact-checked and easily debunked. It's like, what are you guys doing? Why not just tell us the freaking truth? That's all you got to do. Just tell us the truth, give us the facts, let us decide. But it's not good for Democrats. The truth has a right-wing bias these days, which is strange, isn't it? Because it shouldn't have a bias at all. But they know this. They know that reality has a right-wing bias. So they have to lie. They have to manipulate you into believing a certain story that Orange Man is bad and he can't do anything good for the country. It's all really stupid, if you ask me. Let the American people decide, right? Like, if these people didn't lie so much, I might not be backing Trump. You never know. I probably would, but you never know. But I think that's all I got for this one, y'all. I want y'all to let me know what y'all think about all this down in the comment section. Does this not surprise you at all? I imagine it doesn't surprise anybody out there, but once again, it's just like they still think they can get away with this crap. But y'all let me know what y'all think. That's all I got for this one. I want to thank everybody for watching, and y'all try to have a good day. Stay legitical. Peace.